Hey, welcome to June 13th, 2025. I got a lot going on over here, so this might be a very interesting show. I have all these mics in front of me because I want to talk to you a little bit about sound. I'm going to try not to overwhelm you, so you could stay with me. I'll keep it somewhat simple, okay? But first, let's get some water in here because if I talk a lot, I'm going to need a little libation to keep my throat from getting too dry. So, a lot going on in the world this week, don't you think? Don't you think? Huh? Don't you? Where am I going to put this? Let's put this over here, but it's probably going to be in the way. Let's try to put it out of the way. Let's make sure this water is good. Happy June 13th, and it is Friday. Yes, I'm aware of that. And we all know better than to succumb to superstitions because we don't roll that way. We roll without the superstitions because we come under the banner of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Okay, so we do have stuff going on in the world, and if you're upset, let me know, and I can do a little conversation on helping you calm down. But I really want to talk about something else tonight. I want to talk about the face that I have here that I'm putting my hands on. Okay? And it goes through all my system stuff. It goes through wires and gadgets and machines and computers, and then eventually it winds up on your screen. Okay? So I do have rotating cameras. Let's make sure they're all working. Okay. All right, so this microphone's going to be in the way. Well, I'm going to remove this mic in a minute. So there's our Canons over there in that corner. So all the gobbledygook that happens to make my face show up on your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, iPad, or whatever it is that you have, that is called the video chain. Okay. And that's simple, right? I haven't confused anybody yet, right? Everybody's all right. That's called the video chain. Now, what's coming out of my mouth, la 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 la. Okay, let me make sure that I don't have the reverb on. All right, what's coming out of my mouth that goes into the mic, goes through all that same gobbledygook, and it comes over to your ears. That's called the audio chain. So we have the visual chain and the audio chain. Mouth, face. Okay, so audio is the sound, and video is actually what is the picture. Okay, now this can get really, really complicated, or it could be extremely simple. And I'll show you a little bit of the simple, and there is a method to my madness. So why am I going through all this? I made a new friend this week. His name is Justin, but Justin, we'll call him Justin. You know, his name is Justin, okay? But he is part of a family, and it's a 10 members family. So they've got like 8 or 9 children, all of them boys except one girl and the mom. So they're on YouTube, and I've gotten a little bit friendly with them over time, okay? And I get friendly with a lot of you people. I see Sammy, I see Howl. I love you guys. Mookie, how you doing? Randy, okay? So I make comments. So they basically are a Christian family, and they sing Christian songs, okay? So the songs that they're singing, I didn't know how they were actually presenting the songs or creating the songs or anything to that effect. But anyway, one of the 10 children, okay, dad is BJ, mom, I forgot her name. The oldest one, I think, is John. And I think all of the kids have names that starts with the letter J. All right. So They sing Christian songs like songs that you would know, hymns from the church. And I started paying attention because I was just enjoying their singing. I was enjoying the family type of stuff. Now, the only thing that I have come across is many times when you have a large family, um, they're not what I would consider a Christian friendly. They're basically Mormons. Mormons specialize in large families. So I got curious and I started looking them up to see what they're about. So do I have something against the Mormons? No, I really don't, but they're not uh, confessors of the basic premises of the gospel, which you guys that have been around me for long enough know that I'm into the gospel, okay, which is that Jesus is God, Jesus is the Son of God, Jesus died for our sins, Jesus is resurrected. Do I have to go on? You don't know this stuff yet? As long as you've been listening to me, I kind of preach it, but I also respect everybody else's, what their beliefs are. I don't push my beliefs, but I don't hide them. So anyway, I noticed they were singing in a church. You go to church. So I called the church and I said, hey, all these kids, 8, 9 boys, whatever they've got, the girl, they finally had a daughter. Okay, so I'm thinking like, what's that group about? Are they in one of the groups that I would consider myself as a cult, like the JWs or the Latter-day Saints, which kind of take the Bible and bend it and make it more ferocious? Because people like, in a religious setting, people seem to like structure, okay? And a lot of churches don't have structure, or there's a lot of churches, all they do is they go like money, 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 money. Give me some cash, okay? So it became kind of interesting because the family sings good, but they're all very wholesome, nice, sweet family. So I did call the church and I talked to the secretary, and boy, can she talk. You think I could talk? You should get her on the phone. Anyway, it comes, what rises to the top is they're a really wonderful Christian family. I'm in Miami. You guys know Peter Gregg, Miami, Florida. Okay. They're on the other side of the country, on the West Coast. I don't think they could get further if we tried. Okay. So I've watched them, I've enjoyed them, and I noticed one of them, which I'll call Justin, I kind of gave him a nickname. So I'm writing comments. You guys did so good on that song. And they did. I'm not just BSing, okay? They really did good. But one of them, when he sings, his hand is praising the Lord. He's shuffling his feet. He's swinging to the left and to the right. He's smiling with the biggest smile you ever wanted to see. And all the rest are like, Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like, not him. And so he's like shuffling his feet. I'm sitting in my chair shuffling my feet. And then when something that's how great, he'll just raise his hands, okay, and it's all exciting. Okay, so I called him, I nicknamed him Happy Feet. So I would write comments like in your on your channel, like Carlos, I would say Happy Psychologist. So I just kind of nicknamed him Happy Feet. Like, hi, Lewis. Lewis is here, and what would I nickname Lewis? I would nickname Lewis Mr. Technical, especially with the Sony. Okay, so they got to respond to my comments. So I started paying attention to what they were doing, okay? And I'm realizing that their audio is very basic, very super duper basic. And I'm thinking like, wow, that's something. So I didn't think much of it, but I have prayer time every morning or every evening or whenever I want during the day. I guess I should try to be truthful, especially about my prayer time. So I have this microphone and I haven't used it maybe in 10 or 12 years. And I kind of got like, especially with Randy, he cleans out his closets and so on and so forth, and if he hasn't used it in a year, out it goes. Live stream tech support. I see you. I see you. I see you, Lewis. Lewis is Mr. Camera Junkie. We're all friends in here. Okay, so I love everybody. I love everybody. All right. So about 2 or 3 days later, I was in prayer and God kind of like spoke in my heart. Yeah, God's got a loudspeaker in my bedroom and it's kind of like, Peter. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Peter, are you paying attention? No, it's nothing like that. Come on, seriously, guys. Okay, you just kind of hear God's voice in your heart. You know, some people will call it coincidence. Some people will call it intuition, that type of stuff. But over the years, I have learned when I listen to God's voice in my heart, and I can tell. And God said, you know that microphone that you've got in the bottom drawer down there that you haven't used in 15 years? And I'm going, no. What are you talking about, Lord? There's a microphone you have down there. Okay. And I'm thinking like, okay, I don't remember one. Time for some libation. What camera am I on? Nikon. Hey, Nike. How you doing, baby? So God said, I want you to find that microphone that's in your drawer, and I want you to give it to them. And I heard it loud and clear, and I said, no, that can't be God. Really? Gonna go find a microphone and just give it to somebody on the other side of the country? I'm never even gonna meet them. Okay? So I said, no, that wasn't God. Well, long story short, it was, okay? Because he said it to me 100 times. Like, Peter. Yes, Lord. Peter, are you listening? And I said, okay. But I'm not really sure. Maybe let me make sure it really is you, Lord. So on the later videos, one of their latest videos, they suddenly had a microphone like this, and they've never had that before. And I'm wondering, where did that microphone come from? See, this microphone sits on a stand, and you know, they had one like that, but it was a standing up stand because they're like 8 guys, and sometimes the baby sister comes in and sings too. Okay. So I noticed, oh, they've upgraded their audio. Okay. Now, audio is a very important part of what we do for content creation, whether we're out vlogging or whether we're sitting in a studio. KISSING. Okay. So, because I'm in the studio and I like to vlog, I like to walk around the house. I grab this little guy right here. This is the A7C Mark II. Now, that would be a part of the video chain, which maybe we'll have another show on the video chain. But tonight, I want to talk about the audio chain. So, the audio chain starts as simple. What's the simplest form of an audio chain? Okay. It's right here. My phone. It's got the video and it's got the audio all built into it. And that's how they were doing their shows. Okay. The singing Christian family of 10 boys. All right. They just put up their iPhone, and I'm not even sure if it was an iPhone, but I'm guessing. Yeah, because when I texted them, it was blue, so that would make it an iPhone. Okay. So we got an understanding that they're using an iPhone. That's their whole system. And here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras, 42 mics, you know, and a partridge in a pear tree. And these guys are sitting there making week after week, doing songs. And they just got into harmonizing. Okay, these are not too old. I would guess the oldest ones are in their 20s. And the youngest ones, 5, 9, 7. I can't tell ages that wonderful, okay? So this is the simplest form of a video chain and an audio chain. I can log in. I can log into my YouTube, or I can record it on here, and I can record myself talking. And if you're going to talk for YouTube, for God's sakes, turn your phone sideways, okay? So I can talk and say, hey, it's Peter. I'm in Miami, and I got something to say to you. That's the simplest form. Now it would have recorded my voice, and it would record my face. That would be the video chain and the audio chain, okay? Now, the next step up is if the audio is built into the camera, because you know the camera is going to be taking video. That's why a camera is a camera, okay? But it also has little holes here for microphones. You can also slide a microphone into the top, okay, and plug it into the side. And now you're starting to create and build your audio chain, okay? So now to take the audio chain up a little bit, you've got this, and let's see if I can get this out of here. You get a cable, and the microphone, testing 1, 2, 3, testing, can you hear me? I'm not on that mic, I'm on this one, okay? So the mic will connect to a cable, and you got different kinds of cables. You've got a more simplistic consumer level cable, okay? And you've got a professional level cable, which is called XLR. There's 3 pins on the XLR on each side. On the side that you plug into the mic, and then the side that you plug into, I'll get to that in a second, okay? So for the first time, I saw them having it looked like an XLR mic. So now you could take that and make it even more complicated, because Sly will have a mic that looks like this, but it runs on what they call like a 3/8 plug. Actually, it's not 3/8, 3.5, okay? And it looks like a little headphone plug. And the mic looks like this. But when you're going to get into singing, or you're going to get into something professional, you're going to get into the heavier duty cable, which is called XLR. So now I'm going to move this out of the way, okay? I was going to put it over there, but I'm not going to get up. I'm going to put it right down here on the floor. Okay, so this mic that you're listening to now is a professional level microphone, but it's designed to be affordable for all kinds of groups. So it's got a cable, and it's got to get plugged into something, okay? And the microphone doesn't take power or a battery or anything to that effect. All right, so the major style of microphones that's out there these days is called dynamic, which is what we're listening to right now. So this is a dynamic mic. This is a dynamic mic. You'll even see when the president, over the years, no matter which president it is, they'll have 2 of these, okay? And they'll have a really, really big, bushy windscreen on it. And the president will say, ask not what you can do for your country. Or the other way around. Ask not what you know it, President Kennedy, right? Okay. They'll use actually this exact model. And I have one right here. And then you've got the brother or the sister to this model. Now this one is more for speaking. This one is, this is a SM57. This is an SM58. One number different, okay? So they use this on stage. Now, the problem with these microphones is they're kind of designed, I'm talking about the dynamic style. Doesn't take power, doesn't take electricity, so you got a dynamic style microphone. That's the makeup of what's inside the microphone and all the electronics that make it work. That's called a dynamic mic. Now, the other one, like the one I just put on the floor, that's different. That's called a condenser microphone. So you got 2 different kinds of microphones. You've got a dynamic, which you're listening to right now, and you have a condenser. So the condenser mic is a more professional level. It's the singers like to use condenser mic. Um, the dynamic style mic or the dynamic type of mic. So before you even buy a microphone, you need to identify, is it a dynamic type of a microphone or is it a condenser? Okay, because it makes a difference on how your entire audio chain is going to work. You will need different things for a dynamic type of microphone, and you'll need different things for a condenser, which is the one I put on the ground. Maybe I shouldn't have put it on the ground so fast. Okay, so the dynamic microphone doesn't take power, doesn't take any kind of electricity, doesn't take a battery, doesn't take power from whatever you're connecting it from. Now, your condenser type of microphone does. If you don't give it power, you get no sound whatsoever. You'll be going like, what is wrong with this? So if I get this off the floor again, okay. So if I plug this into my system, it's not going to work until I get power to it. So you say to yourself, well, Peter, how do you get power to a microphone? Well, that's why the XLR professional level of the cable, okay, has all those pins in there, because one of those, or whatever combination or goes on in there, actually carries some electricity, a low level, 48 volts, very low, like a little higher than a 9-volt battery, but it's 48 volts, okay? That will make a condenser microphone come to life. So, Justin, I'll talk to you for a second. Justin is one of the guys that's in the group, okay? All right, so the microphone that they had used on their last video looked like it was the type that took the cable, XLR cable, okay, and that it required power. So that means that microphone got plugged into something that's providing power. All right, so I have a board here, and on my board, if I push a certain button, I can add what they call sweetness to my voice. But basically, it's a form of reverb. So, hey girl, what you doing down there? 3 floors below me, you don't even know me. I love you. Knock 3 times, right? That's the old song. So I just turned on reverb. Now, how is that all controlled? Okay, that's controlled by something called a mixing board or a preamplifier. So now we're going to start moving down the audio chain. We're going to start from the voice comes out of the mouth. You know, my mouth, blah, 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 big, talk a lot. Okay. Then it gets captured by either the microphones that's in the camera, the microphone that you sit on the top of the camera in that hot shoe, and it plugs into the side where they got the plug, the 3.5 plug. I think it's in here. Is it up here or down here? Nope, it's up here. So if I open this door, there's a red input. That's designed for a microphone. So you would go to B&H or Amazon or something, and you would buy a microphone that kind of just sits on top, and that takes the whole quality level from these 2 little holes that's in the front of my camera right there. It takes that and it ups it by 1 level. Now you've got something that's got a battery in it, and you've got a cable, and it's going into the camera. Now, a lot of cameras, or I should say most cameras, they don't have high-end amplifiers built into the camera. So many people like to bypass the camera system and go into another way of recording. But let's say you're a family group and you got 10 members and most of them are boys with 1 girl, and you want to sing. So what you've got is you can't get all these guys. Guys don't like to be that close to each other, right? So you can't get all these guys that close to each other. So you're going to start doing this. You're going to start having some of them over here. Now you notice I'm a little bit quieter than when I come and stand right in front of the microphone. Okay, now you're finding out a little bit as to why you would pick a dynamic type microphone over my condenser, which is back on the floor. Because the condenser microphone will open up the area of what it will hear. And in the process, you will get room noise. Room noise is like I got a fan over there, an air conditioner over there, there's another fan over here. That'll start to sneak in. Now, because I'm using one type of mic, which is this one, and what's this type of mic? This is called a dynamic mic. Doesn't take power. It just plugs right into your system, which we're going to get to that part in a minute, okay? But it is known for being able to cancel out the noise that's around. So the way I have this set up now, you don't really hear the fan and the air conditioner that much. Maybe if I'm quiet for a second. So it's actually important to, pay attention to the noise that's, I'm clicking on something here, to the noise that's happening in the room for the audio part, okay? So, of course, you got to pay attention to a lot of stuff on the video part, but I'm just sticking to the audio for the moment because I'm going to get myself confused in a second, okay? So I'm using, when I go live with you guys and there's no one in the room, nobody's visiting me, I'm using a dynamic microphone. That's the type of microphone that it is, okay? Because I wanted to ignore all the noises that's in the room. So if I go like that, you might hear it a little bit, but not the same if I had a condenser microphone. Think of condensed milk, okay? So a condenser microphone actually has a wider range of what it's going to pick up. And singers want that because it actually goes down your throat and it gets the vocal cords that are flapping. No, it sounds better, okay? So this microphone, I finally found it. Like I said, God told me to find this microphone and send it to this family. And I said no, okay? Well, God doesn't like to be told no. So I had a rough few days, okay? Until I finally said yes. So I figured, well, maybe they won't want it. So I did reach out to them, and I didn't hear nothing. Justin is the one guy that I hooked up with, and nothing. And then out of nowhere, the phone rings, and it's, "Hi, I'm Justin from the West Coast of the United States." I said, "The West Coast? Justin? I don't know." "Oh, yes, wait, I do know a Justin." He says, "Yeah, I found out from the church," because I had talked to the church. Because, you'll sound like a weirdo if you just call somebody up. Like if I just call Lewis up, Mr. Camera Junkie, and go like, "Hey, Lewis, how you doing? You don't know me, but I'm calling you from California, and I just want to let you know that I really like your show." And Lewis is going to go like, "How'd you get my number? Who are you anyway? And why are you talking to me?" So I left my name and number with the church on the West Coast, on the California side of the country. Remember, I'm on the Miami side of the country, okay? So I told them what I basically told you. I have a stereo Rode NT4 microphone, okay? And that's this microphone right here. It even has its own little cradle, which is this one right here, okay? So if I actually take the wind muffin thing off, you will see that it actually has two capsules. One is aiming that way and one is aiming that way. And because it's got two capsules, it's got one cable that splits off into two XLR cables. Okay? Let me show you that. Boy, I'm going to make a mess out of this show. Okay? So I'm going to try and pull the cable. I did one. I did two. Okay. So this cable that comes with this microphone plugs into the mic, and it's proprietary, meaning it's specific for this microphone. It doesn't work on any other microphone. And a normal XLR style cable, which you go to Amazon and you look for microphone cables, and if it's got the pins like these, and this is what it looks like on the other side, they got the pins in them. If I get my fingers out of the way, which camera am I on? Okay, the Nikon. Okay, so it's got the pins here. All right, so you plug the cable that comes in with this microphone, remembering that this microphone is a stereo mic. It's an unusual mic. It's not like every other type of microphone. So we plug in this cable, if I can get it, and not break it. Yeah, they're expecting me to send this to California. Okay, so I plugged it in. Okay. Now the other end of this cable has got two, where all cables come from the microphone and you get one. Okay, and these have to plug into a machine. But this one has two plugs. So you need to have a unit that will accept two XLR cables. Okay, and the reason for that is this microphone, the NT4, is a stereo microphone. So if I were to put this microphone out and I moved here, well, I'll show you, okay? So I'm going to plug this into what's called a mixing board. Okay, we haven't even gotten to that yet. We'll get there, but keep your pantyhose on, okay? I got to plug this in, and then I got to plug this in, because remember, I got two. Okay, now I'm going to put the windscreen on, because I don't want to, what they call pop my peas. When you go, please, you know, well, if you're too close to the microphone, the please will be what they call an explosion. And it's a P explosion. And in the audio world, they call that a plosive. Okay, just so you know that they do have terminology. Okay, so now listen to this microphone. Okay, listen to the quality and to the sound, and you don't have to make comments like, I like one better, I like the other one. This is not a contest. I just want to show you how you're going to hear a different sound when I switch over to this microphone. Okay. All right, now I am on a condenser microphone. It's supposed to be higher quality. I'll put it kind of like where the other one was. All right. But if I come out over here, you still get to hear me because it's got a much wider circle. Okay. And then the fact that this guy is stereo, it's even a wider circle. Okay. So when the boys all sing, the 10 of them, or the family, okay, they will be able to gather around. You get 10 guys together. You'll get the taller ones in the back and the shorter ones in the front. But you still, how close are you going to get guys together? They still, you know, maybe bump shoulders or not even. Okay. So this microphone, which I'm aiming it the wrong way, okay, is going to give me a wider sphere because it's stereo. And then because it's a condenser microphone, again, it's even wider. So when let's say I wanted to sing into this microphone, I'm only one person. But if I sweeten this up, meaning if I make it sound like I'm in a hall, okay, and I go, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. All right, so the mixing board that I'm using has the ability to give me a hall or church type of a sound. Okay, and I can even do it on, got all these buttons to push, on this microphone, which is what happens when I sing happy birthday to you. So if I got to sing happy birthday, I would go, Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Justin. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so by adding that Howl sound, they call that sweetening the sound. Okay, so let's get back to the important part. You've got the microphone. It captures the voice. It comes down this cable. This cable has to go to something, and that something is either called a preamplifier, which then gets plugged into your computer or to your camera or into a recorder, or it goes through a mixing board, which is what you're hearing right now. So I'm not ignoring you guys. I'll get to you guys in a minute, okay? So let's look at, okay, so I see Carlos is here, Sammy is here, Mr. Camera Junkie here, Scotty's here, Woody's here. Why was my second comment deleted? Did I say something wrong? You must have, because there's nobody here doing any deletions, okay? So there's words in there, and if you use the word that's already listed in my YouTube words, okay, it will not delete the comment. It just won't show up, all right? So whatever you said that's gone, say it in another way. And maybe that one will come through. All right, so you need a place to connect the wire that's coming from your microphone, and that's called a mixing board. So if I come down here real quick, let's go down to the bottom, and let's go to the desktop. And let's open up Chrome. Now I got Chrome opened up. Okay, and I'm on Amazon. All right, so these are mixing boards. Now mixing boards go all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars, okay? But I was just scrolling down. Actually, this one looks pretty good right here. This is $128.99, and you save 15% with a coupon if you order it, okay? So this is an 8-channel professional mixer. Now, what this means is I can plug in 8 separate microphones. So my mixer that I've got, I think I can plug in 10. But all you need is the one, to be honest with you. That doesn't mean the other ones are wasted, but it means it's there for you to grow in, all right? So what attracted me on this one, it's 8-channel. Okay, the price is $129. Well, that's good, because I don't want to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. So $130, all right? But then here where my mouse is, it's got 99 DSP, digital stereo processing effects. Now that's important. That's where the button is to make my voice come into a Howl. So let's open this up, okay? And this is what it looks like. And it looks very, very like you should be scared of it, but you don't. What you actually have is 8 channels. So see the one in the upper left corner at the very top, it's got a number 1. So you would put 1, if I was using this Christmas mic for the Christmas room, I would plug it in to this 1 plug. And I would use all the buttons that are in that 1 row and ignore all the rest of this stuff, okay? But what if I have a guest and I want to get a second mic? Well, look, if you look up at the top, you see the number 2, all right? So the number 2 allows you to put a second mic. And if you go all the way across, you actually get 10 mics. I didn't mean to click on that. Sorry about that. Let's get rid of that. I said get rid of that. All right. So see how the last one is number 8? So this is an 8-channel mixer. Now, what this mixer will do for you is with the stereo mic that's going to California side of the country, it's going to take 2 of these plugs to work. It's going to have a left and a right because remember we have 2 capsules. Now let's see if I got a bubble in here because Lewis is the one that made the test desktop. And I don't think I got a bubble in here. Oh yeah, maybe I do. Okay. There I am. Okay. So this is the same thing. Now Lewis, Mr. Camera Junkie, made this for me. So he made it so that I can appear here in the corner and talk to you while I'm showing you stuff at the same time. Okay. So I'm not exactly centerized, but that's okay. All right. So let's come back over here. All right. So this microphone would take channel 1 for the left and channel 2 for the right. And it doesn't have to be left and right. It can be whatever I decide to do. All those controls are down here, okay? Now, if you go over to the right of this thing, let's get my mouse over there so I can show it to you. All right, see this 99? All right, now underneath here, we get all the different reverbs. See all those little words that you can't read? There's 99 different reverbs, 99 different sounds that you can add to the number 1 mic or number 2 mic or any mic that you put in here, okay? So if we go down below, let's go over here, okay? So these are the different actual sounds that this machine will give you for the $130. It's not just a dry mic, okay? It'll give you 00, 03, 06, 09, and if you notice, each one has got a different description. Small hall, a mid-size hall, a big hall, a church, and then they do the same thing when it goes to the rooms. Small room, mid-room, big room, chapel, a plate, a spring. Now that's technical, okay? And then you've got additional stuff over to the right. You've got a chorus sound. Now each one of those affects the sound. And you got 99 different ones, okay? So for the price on this guy, at $130 plus a 15%, so that would be what, $12, $15 or $18 off. This is almost like a $100 unit. So this is really a good price. However, you do need a unit like that in order to run this mic. So when this mic gets over to California, the guys are going to stand there, all the boys, and they're going to go, well, that's a nice mic, but what do we do with it? And that's why I'm going to make a special video and show them that they're going to have to spend a little money and actually get a mixing board, okay? Now, the advantage to that mixing board is it does all that, and it comes out in a plug that can go into your camera, or it can go into like your computer. So like on Ecamm, which is what's happening here, okay? My software is called Ecamm that I'm broadcasting from. But all of the sound that happens in here goes into a plug that goes into Ecamm. So if I turn this mic back on, and now I'm talking from this microphone, okay? Now, this is what a condenser mic sounds like. It's a higher quality, or it should be, okay? So if it's not, shh, don't tell me, okay? Plus, because I'm running this microphone to a board, I can add what they call one of those DSP effects, one of those sound effects. So if I was going to, you got a thing about you, I just can't live without you. I really want you well and on near me. So when I sing, I could sound a little more like you would expect someone on stage. All right, so let me turn that back on again real quick. Now the point of this reverb is you can hear right now that I sound like I'm in the hall. So now if I bring it all the way off, it sounds dry. So what you really, you know what they say, less is more. So if I sing to you right now, sometimes hallelujah. Okay, now I'm going to sing a little bit, and then I'm going to slowly add the sweetness to my voice. The reverb, the Howl, okay? Sometimes hallelujah, sometimes praise the Lord. I've added just a little reverb to my voice. And now I will go higher, and it sounds more and more like I'm in a church. Or I can make it sound like I'm in a really big hall, and then I can turn it off. So the point that I'm trying to make is sometimes a lot is not necessary. You just want to make your voice sound a little bit better. All right. So now I'm going to go back over to the SM58. This is a Shure, S-H-U-R-E. That's the brand. Okay, so I need to turn all those buttons off just to get back to my original mic. Now, when I broadcast with you guys every Friday night, I do have that same thing available. So I can sing a song, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. This is no reverb or no echo, and this is a little bit added to my voice. Now, I just have to remember to turn it off, otherwise for the rest of the night, I have done this. I sound like I'm talking in a hall, and that's not cool. It needs to be dry, okay? Now, the $130 unit that I showed you a minute ago has what it takes to power this mic built into it. I don't have to open this up and add a battery to it. I don't have to get a third-party unit to supply power for this condenser mic. Condenser mics, which is the type of mic, again, remember, condenser mics require power because the part that goes back and forth, see your voice, it flaps. That's what makes the noise. It comes out of my voice. Well, this is going to record me by doing the same thing, but it needs power to work properly. The dynamic style does not, okay? Your quality is better here, but you'll get more room noise. So when these boys decide that they're going to sing, okay, they need to shut off the air conditioners and the fans and all that kind of stuff, or make as little noise as possible, because this guy is going to pick all that up, all right? So another way to go is you get a couple of these, or even 3. Remember, we had 8 channels on that one board that I showed you. So you're not limited to putting one mic. So if I'm over here, okay, I'm at the edge now. Now the volume is really way down. I'm shouting so you could hear me. But if I'm going to sing a song, I really should be, I'm going to sing a song. You see how the difference is? Okay, so this one's got a wider circle that's going to pick up the sound. This one's going to have more room rejection, and you want that. So if I were to sing live, I'd take this off. Now I'll have amplifiers, I'll have singers, I'll have the crowd, and I need to silence all that. I just need to pick up, you got a thing about you. I just can't live without you. I really want you, Eleanor, near me. Do-wah, do-wah. Okay, so I would actually want to reject sound if I'm the lead singer of a group, okay? But if I'm not a lead singer of a group, I want the wider ability so that we get everybody. I mean, we got the oldest boy to the youngest boy in this group that sings, and they're going to sing. And they get one microphone that sits in front of them, all right? And they do solos. Do meaning yes, they do solos. So the guy that's soloing, if he's over here, let's get my hand in the thing, all right? And he's singing Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. And then the next guy is going to take over that raised a wretch like me. So this guy is nice and loud. Remember, there's 10 boys, okay? And this guy is nice and soft. This is going to balance that out, okay? Now, I'm going to ship them this mic, but let's say I wasn't. What they needed to do is to get a mixing board and 2 or 3 of these mics and set them up so it would get the overall sound. So tonight we're focusing on the audio aspect of what happens when you're recording for YouTube or if you're singing in a church, okay? So let's go back. Let's open this up real quick because I don't like the fact that I'm not in the center. Now I want to go back to that that camera, that desktop, okay, with me in it. Now I need to put me like that, okay? Now I'm in the middle. I don't feel so uncomfortable. Let's go more middle. All right, so now I can close that window and I can come back over here. All right. All right, so now this unit, again, has got a few different features that I haven't even hit on. Now, most of you guys that are sitting here watching me, okay, you're not performing in public. Maybe Scotty is, okay? Scotty plays the piano. I don't know if he sings, all right? So you might have a band with you, and because this particular unit, and by the way, at $130, this is an amazing, amazing, amazing unit. So if you start to look for a unit with less than the 8 plugs that this gives you to put in mics, you're going to start getting into cheap amplifier parts, where a unit like this has got some pretty good quality amplifier components inside of it, okay? So the output on this, if I can get up there, all right, is going to have the ability, we see where it says main out, left and right, all right, and then you've got the phones, the headphones, and then you've got something called a return. I'm up in that corner there. So it says main out in the upper right-hand corner, all right? Now, what that's for is if I was going to give a concert in your backyard and I'm going to sing, I need speakers. Well, where do I plug the speakers in? Okay, I need to buy speakers that are self-amplified, so it's not like the speakers you got in your bedroom where your stereo receiver is amplifying them. You need to buy speakers that are self-amplified where the speaker is actually carrying its own amplifier for that particular speaker. So you got a left and a right, okay? So you would have 2 speakers, and I'd sing dun 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 dun, okay? And they would be plugged into the L and the R on the top right where it says main output. Now, what about if I wanted this to go to a camera or a computer, okay? Well, I've got a couple of different choices there, but the one I would use here would be the next one over to the left that says phones. Instead of listening to them on the headphones, I would actually plug a headphone plug there that gives me a plug to go into my camera. So I don't have to worry about recording it somewhere and putting it all together. I'll just run a plug from that phones into the camera, do a test. Always do a test. You got to do a test, because if you're too low, you got to do it all over again. And if you're too loud, it's going to sound distorted. So you run a test. T-E-S-T, okay? Can I make it any plainer? So then when you hit the record button on your camera, or if you're running this into the iPhone, all the video and the audio is all getting pumped out at the same time, and you don't have synchronization issues, okay? So the way I have it set up in here, just an FYI so you know, okay, is I have my microphone. The microphone that I use most of the time is a dynamic microphone, so I don't need power to come to this microphone, okay? Now, if I chose to use a dynamic microphone, a condenser microphone, condenser is the right word. If I choose to use a condenser microphone like this one, and I wouldn't use a condenser microphone in here that was stereo, I would use one like this. and it would go up on the desk like this, and I would talk to you guys, and I have used this microphone. Now, this microphone can't go directly to the camera, and it can't go directly to anything that doesn't have the ability to give it power, because the condenser microphones, the higher end professional microphones, they need 48 volts of power. Now, the board that I have is able to deliver that, okay? So that is how I'm running in here, and I can use a wide variety of microphones. I'm sorry, why am I keep bending over? Somebody turn my brain on. Just put it right up there, okay? All right, so the microphone that I'm working in here is a dynamic microphone, but if I chose to switch over and go to a condenser microphone, that board that adds the reverb when I sing, like hallelujah, hallelujah, okay, now that is not hallelujah, 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 okay, now that is the Hall. I have it set to a large Hall. I like echo. It's a personal thing. That's why all of this stuff is so personal. It's what you like. Some people actually like this dry sound. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I do not like a dry sound. I like it sweeter, like I'm singing to you. From the shower, it sounds so much better. So you know how people will say, I sound great in the shower, just because it's all tile. Okay, so unless you go in a room with all tile, you're not going to get the sound bouncing off the walls. That's why people like Jim Monday and Randy and Carlos, when they set up and Sly too, okay, when they set up their studio, they have sound absorbing stuff in the room on purpose. And this sound absorbing stuff is so that it doesn't sound cheap, okay? So remember, tonight it's all about the audio chain, the sound that comes out of my mouth and comes into your ears, either through your speaker on your phone or your earbuds or your TV or your iPad, and everything that happens from my mouth to your ears, yes, I gargled, so you're fine, okay, is called the audio chain. So I tried to explain the audio chain. I'm sure I screwed it up, okay, but it goes into a microphone that's designed to pick up sound. It could be an instrument, it can be a guitar, it can be vocal, it can be multiple people, okay? And then you get to pick what type of microphone you want, what quality level. You want dynamic type, where it doesn't require power, but it's designed to squelch the surrounding noise, okay? This type, which is a condenser, and this is 2 condenser units in one mic, okay? This one is designed to pick up a wider pattern. And the reason for the wider pattern is the condenser itself, the filament that's inside of these capsules. Remember, there's capsules. This one's got 2 of them, okay? The other mic that I showed you, it's got 1 single capsule. And it's got this grill on the front to keep me from popping my peas. Please pass the pumpkin pie, okay? Now, I don't think I exploded anything in here, but if the peas exploded, that's called plosives, okay? And that's the reason that this has a screen on it. That's the reason that this microphone that we're hearing now has a screen on it. That's why I put this windscreen on here. It's not just for wind. It's to keep Peter from popping his peas, okay? So if I get close, then you will get those peas popping, and those are called plosives, all right? So now I'm going to come over to you guys, and then you're going to tell me what part didn't I explain very well. Because remember, they're going to hear this in California. They don't know much about sound, and I had to cram all of that information so when this microphone arrives and they can't get it to work, they're going to be able to look at every step along the way and see if they have to buy something. So I might be costing them money, okay? They might have to buy a mixing board. Actually, chances are they don't have a mixing board, okay? And if they start looking for a mixing board, the prices are all over the place, and they don't know that they need a mixing board that will give the power to the microphone, 48 volt, they call it 48 volt phantom power, okay? And they want to pick a mixing board, like I showed, that actually will give them those room effects, because it's so much nicer. Oh, I got the reverb on, okay? See, I didn't want the echo running the whole time, and if I'm not careful, I will completely forget. So now for the last 10 minutes, I sounded like I was in the hall. That's why one of those 10 boys is going to really have to learn to remember to put on the echo, turn off the echo if they're going to talk and give a speech, and understand the chain. So what I just did would normally embarrass myself, because now I just talked like I was in a hall for the last 10 minutes. That's not right, okay? I should be talking like dry. In other words, no enhancement to my voice. Now, if I sing, sometimes, hallelujah, I want that echo, I want that reverb to come in. And if you're a one-man operation like me, you got to remember to turn the darn thing off, because otherwise you're going to be embarrassed. Don't I look like I have egg on my face? Wait. Okay, I wiped all the egg off. Okay. So I didn't mean to do that on purpose, I promise, okay? It just was a great example of what happens if you leave the reverb on by accident. You get to do your whole show like you're sitting in your shower, or you're sitting in a big old church, okay? And, okay, so I think I explained as much as I can think of. Now let's go and say hi to all my boys, all my friends, all my guy friends. So we got Woody saying hi. We got Hal. I love you, Hal. I love you, Woody. I love you, Mookie. I love you, Sammy. So Mookie is here. Hal is here. I hope you're feeling good, Hal. Sammy, I hope you're feeling good. Randy, I love you, Randy. Randy's sending me something tomorrow. I'll have to make a video and show it to you. Lewis is here. Hi, Lewis. Hi, Aiden. Let me make sure my reverb is off before I embarrass myself a second time. Scotty is in the room. Thank God it's Friday. And Mr. Camera Junkie Lewis is saying live stream tech support. That's what he's known for. I remember talking about that. So Sammy's saying, what mic is that? Maybe I didn't say it often enough. So it's the Rode. Rode is the brand. Where am I? Rode is the brand. Wrong. I'm on the Nikon. And the model is NT4. N Nancy, T Tango 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it's the Rode NT4. It's a stereo Rode mic. They sell about between $5 and $550. Okay, used, of course, it would probably sell for cheaper. Okay, so what mic is that? Sammy says, do you have any Canon lenses for sale? That's an E-mount. Not that I could just spit out right off the bat, because you marry the camera body, but you marry the lenses, but you date the body. So I don't really want to sell any lenses. So, Sammy, why are you asking that? Are you getting into a Canon camera? Bokeh Bashudo, hi Peter, hi family. Now he's in L.A., so let's keep him in our prayers. We don't want him or his wife getting hurt. Okay, So Sammy says most musicians use the SM57 for drums and vocals. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. This is the SM58. So the difference between the SM57, which is a model number, and the brand is Shure, and the SM58 is, well, I fixed what the problem is with this one. When you get in and you sing like you're on the stage, come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. Okay. Well, on this one, it's going to actually pop your P's. Peter will be popping his P's again. Plosives. But I fixed it. I took this cover off. And you know those things that you buy when you take a shower, the plastic ones? Scrub-a-dub-dub, it takes the skin off. Okay. I stuffed some of that in there. So I no longer pop my P's when I'm working with this. Now this guy, he's got a P popper built in. And that's why this is a very highly used vocal microphone for soloists. So if you're in a band, you got a guitar, you got the drums, and maybe you got a few mics. Well, your soloist, your lead singer, okay, is going to be singing into his own mic. Now, the two things that you want to do is you don't want to pop your P's. And the other thing that you want to do is squelch all the noise around, because you don't want the guitar and the drums all coming through this one mic. You want to do what they call mixing it. Raise the volume here a little bit, a little more reverb on this mic, maybe no reverb on the drums because they don't need to sound like they're in a church. But I do. I need to sound like I'm in a hall, so I sound a little richer. Okay, so that's called mixing, when you start fine-tuning all this stuff. Okay, so Mookie said, I arrived for the audio chat, but I'm staying for the Tony Orlando and Don tribute songs. Tie a yellow, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still love me? Tony, Orlando, and Dawn, they got lots of really cool songs. Tie a yellow ribbon. Oh, I turned my Hall off, so I'm just old Peter now. Okay. So that's Mookie, and Woody says, I answered him. Why was my second comment deleted? You used the word that it kicked it out, so you got to figure out what word that is. Mookie says, YouTube is eating comments again, some sort of bug. Oh, maybe it's doing something bigger than the list. Okay. It's a YouTube problem. Well, I'm glad to know that, because I feel guilty when it's me that's causing the problem. It's a YouTube problem. Many of my comments never show up. Okay. So that's Mookie. Randy said, I had to go back over a year for the comments, and YouTube is not notifying me of replies to the replies to the replies to the reply. Sorry, I got stuck there. Okay. So Randy said, if I performed in public, I would be put in a public square that has a built-in fence and a gate and a whole bunch of other guys with their own stories. Randy's being funny. Randy's talking to Woody. And Geeky Nerdy Techie Shane is here. This will be a boring one for you, Shane, because it's all about odd. Oh, wait. Shane is a professional musician. So he's probably listening to me and going like, Peter's got it wrong here. Peter's got it wrong there. Peter's got it wrong here. Peter's got it wrong there. Okay. I'm trying to help some people, and at the same time trying to come up with an interesting, entertaining show. Bouquet Bashuto, and because I dare to perform in a public place, I would be one of those sharing my story. Oh, he's talking to Randy. I'm going like, what? Okay. So Randy is saying we are in the church choir with the echo. Oh, I did turn it off. Oh, so you're reminding me back a few minutes. It was embarrassing, right, Randy? I'm supposed to remember which camera I'm on. I'm supposed to remember to turn that off, and I didn't. Oh, so somebody's doing the thumbs up on and off. That means remember to give the show a thumbs up. Okay. So Randy is telling me Since we are in the chamber mode, any birthdays lately? Randy says the reverb was great. So do you like it with heavier reverb or lighter reverb for a single singer? Okay, so if it's just me, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, whoever's birthday it is. Happy birthday to you. Now I'm going to pump up the reverb. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, whoever's birthday it is. Happy birthday to you. A little more reverb. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to all that have that Father's Spirit. And happy Father's Day to my Father in the sky. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Remember, He's a Father too. If you're going to talk, Peter, turn off the church. Okay, so the reverb was great. Okay, Randy says, my problem is the mic is usually on mute. I've done that, okay? So, and talking, and I don't realize that I have the mic on mute, I could talk for 10 minutes and none of the sound comes through. That's another embarrassing thing. Yes, it's an embarrassment. Oh, well. Some viewers like it muted. Randy, we want to hear what you got to say. So, Bokeh Bashudo is talking about the East Coast girls are hip. I really dig the style they wear. Yeah, Brian Wilson, which was the main voice of the Beach Boys, passed away this week. That's sad, but you know, all of us in my age group, one by one, we're going. But if you have Jesus in your heart, you're going to heaven. So if you don't, that's my point for tonight. And I'm not allowed to get preachy because Sly will get upset. Okay, so yes, we send love to Brian and the Beach Boys. Okay, Peter gets it right. Don't worry. That's my buddy Shane. I love Shane. I love all of you so much. I am just so happy when you guys are all here. And let's see. Oh, we've gone past the hour. So I'm hoping that this will help them because they're very green. When I say they're green, they've never really paid attention to the audio chain, and they really have never paid attention that much to the video chain. They pop up an iPhone, record, and sing. And now they have an uncle. I don't know what the uncle's name is, and he's trying to help them. And they got an uncle down here in Miami that's going to try to help them. And if they wind up coming in here, I'm sure all of you guys would help them too, okay? Because you guys are all very loving people, all right? So Sammy is, preach it, Peter, preach it. Now, if I do that right in the mic, that'll be a plosive. Preach it, Peter, preach it. See, now this mic cuts out the plosives, okay? All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else in between, remember, tonight is Peter, tomorrow is Louis, Mr. Camera Junkie, and his son, Aiden. And Randy is on all the time, anytime, every day. Carlos, Bokeh Bashudo, he's on a couple of times during the week. Sly is on Tuesday nights live at 10 o'clock, okay? So let's keep our little group together because we're not large, okay? Honestly, we're not that many, but we are tight and we love each other. All right, guys, thank you. We got a few more. Oh, this Sunday is Father's Day. So don't forget to give a father. It doesn't even have to be a male. Some women are father and mother to their children, okay? And some people don't have children at all, but they have a father spirit. And they will step in and be a father to someone. The Bible even says taking care of the fatherless, the widows, the orphans. That's our job as Christian guys and gals too. Okay? So when people get on your case like they do with me, well, why are you helping that person? because it's the Christian thing to do. And God has brought them across my path, and I'm going to do it. And you know what? I'll get a blessing for it. I'm not going to let nobody steal my blessing because they got a different opinion. And most of the time, the other opinion is correct. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I'm still going to step in and be that loving person because you don't know. Maybe they have never seen or heard unconditional love before. And if you're providing that, you got to keep in tune with God because at some point, God might say that's enough. All right, guys. Shane, did you change your avatar? Randy's saying good night, and Shane is saying take care, folks. Okay, but that looks like a different avatar. Oh, no, that's Geeky Nerdy Techie. Okay, so Geeky Nerdy Techie is Shane's channel with the cameras, and I'm used to seeing the channel with the In the Blues. Okay, so that's what's going on. Okay, so now I could say good night. Our show is over. If I can find which camera I'm on the Canon. Hi, Canon. R6 Mark II. Now I'm on the Nikon. Hi, Nikon. Am I on the Nikon? Yeah, Z6 Mark II. What a great camera. I look so handsome on this camera. All right, I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me tonight. If you're watching this on the rewind, put a comment down there because I go and looking who watched my show, who was listening to it. And because I sit still most of the time, you could just listen to this while you're driving, okay? Because now if I was singing and dancing, okay, you might want to watch that. But this could equally be a podcast, okay? And here's Jeff. He's down under in Australia. Shane is down under in Australia. Roy, when you watch during the week, he is down in Australia. And then we got the people up in Canada, Louis, Lazuka, and Norm. Okay, love you all. Thank you for being here with me and giving me your comments because I like your comments. And now I'm going to say goodnight. Now it's time to say goodbye. All right, so what I really do say is see you, God willing, next Friday, if God is willing and the bridge isn't up. And my goal is the sky and not the grave. Good night.